Well, Sawandikap, my name is Eladi Minguez. I'm the service manager of the interoperability team in Asia Pacific, and I'm located in Thailand, in Bangkok. Although I'm coming from Barcelona, so I'm sorry, but I cannot speak to my presentation in Thai, maybe next year. So, go to grab. Okay. So, today, we are going to be talking about several topics. I hope this is interesting for you, so maybe something new for you that I hope is going to be helpful. So we are going to be talking about the interoperability challenge in a moment. Then we are going to see together the interoperability architecture. Then we will talk about the business-to-business communications. After that, application-to-application communications. And then we will talk about our team, the interoperability team, and the services that we are offering. So, I'm not telling you something new if I'm saying that we are living in a connected world, am I? So do you agree that if you want to succeed in your business, you need to be closely connected to your partners? For instance, your customers, they are asking you to share more and more the information, so faster and more often. Look at your suppliers. I mean, it's an advantage for you if you are able to communicate closely with them. So if you are thinking inside at home, look at your ERP that needs to be interconnected with the rest of the applications. So that is what we are calling in QAD the interoperability challenge. So this is to connect your ERP with other business. This is called V2V, or your ERP with other applications. This is called A2A. Okay? And now, this is not anymore at local level, but that is done at global level and in the cloud. So, okay, I'm going to make you a question now. How many of you have been involved in an integration project, like an EDI or interfaces? Can you please raise your hand? How many of you? I know many of you are lucky then. So, do you agree that these kind of projects are taking much longer than you expected, and then that being more complex than do you believe at the beginning? And on top of that, if you are explaining that to your colleagues at your management, it's not easy to explain. So they are saying, come on, this is about moving files or bytes. Why it's taking so long, or why it's so complex? I think that is normal. And what is the reason for that? I think there are several reasons. Maybe the first reason is that needs too many IT vendors. So you need to have a company taking care of the communications, another company taking care of the translations, other company for the ERP, other company for the infrastructure. And also, you need to use many technologies. So usually in a single project, you're using different protocols, different EDI standards at the same time. So that makes that the project management of the integration projects is difficult. So you have many stakeholders in a project. So there are many teams in the same project, and you need to coordinate all of them, right? So what is happening is that all of this is taking time from the IT department. So instead of focusing in the more strategic added value, you have to spend a lot of time in that kind of technical projects. Okay. In QAD, we have been listening that concern from our customers, and we have worked out a solution that I'm going to introduce today. So that solution has 4 main characteristics. The first one is we want to have a solution end-to-end. We want to be your single vendor for integration projects. So you don't need to be hiring several companies or paying subscription to many vendors, just a single vendor. So that is an advantage, as you will see. And of course, our solution must be in the cloud. And we are going to be using the latest technologies for that solution. Moreover, that obviously is a solution which is going to be totally integrated with the application suite of QAD. So we are going to be using the same implementation methodologies. We are going to be using the same support standards for that solution. And last but not least, we have a global IO team behind of that solution which is not just an interoperability communication expert, but we are really QAD and manufacturing experts. So we understand your business processes. So let's have a look at about that architecture of that solution. So there are 4 components that I want you to learn today. On the business-to-business side, we have 2 modules, QAD Cloud EDI and e-commerce. In the application-to-application side, we have 2 more modules. One is called QExtend and the other QAD Boomi. What is doing that architecture? So QAD Cloud EDI and QAD Boomi are the ones connecting with external trading partners or applications. So they are translating the external messages into the QAD standards. While e-commerce and QExtend, they are very closely linked to the QAD database, and they're the one creating the transactions into the system. So it's a combination of all of them that is providing that solution. Okay, let's have a look a bit more deeper in business-to-business solutions. So what is our portfolio for business-to-business? So the first thing we do is EDI, which stands for Electronic Data Interchange. So we have those 2 components, QC and e-commerce, and we have different package solutions for different sectors, like 3PL warehousing or vendor management inventory. A special subset of EDI is for bank institutions. So it's for communicating with the bank, but at the end it's EDI. So we are sending payment orders to the banks, and we are receiving from the bank statement, so we can integrate bank statements into the cash management module of QAD. But even for those suppliers that they are not able to deal with traditional EDI, you know that we have a supplier portal also solution. So let's talk now about one of the components, which is new probably for most of you. What is the QAD Cloud EDI? So QAD Cloud EDI is a VAN provider. It's a value-added network provider. So there are many companies, like you probably know Seaburger or Covisint or GXIS or OpenText. QAD Cloud EDI is the same. It's a VAN provider. Okay? So all these companies, including QC, what they do is they are taking care of the communications with your partners, and at the same time, they are translating the external message into the QAD standard format. All of them, they do the same. QAD, on top of that, is a complete service on the cloud. So we don't want you to do installations of a translation software or communication software at home. You don't need to do that. Everything is on the cloud. And that is very closely linked with the e-commerce module, which is a module inside QAD. So both together, QCE and QAD e-commerce make our standard solution for EDI. So if there are many, I told you there are many VAN providers in the market, what is making us unique to QAD Cloud EDI? So we are the only end-to-end EDI provider for the QAD customers. So nobody else can provide a solution from the connectivity with the partners until the integration of QAD. So if you are choosing any other VAN provider, you will need at the end to contract other people to do the integration in QAD. So we are the only ones who do that. And we are the only VAN provider which are a QAD specialist. We are focused on the QAD customers, not in all the ERP systems. So that means that we have a collection of templates that we can reuse faster and we can share with our customers. So what does that mean for our customers? That means that our implementations are faster with QAD Cloud EDI. And they are less risk because you don't need to coordinate many companies. You have to just deal with a single point of contact, which is QAD Cloud EDI. So as I told you, we are connected to many trading partners already because we have many years of experience. So this is a small sample of the trading partners that we are already connected. I'm sure that some of those you can recognize because maybe they are your customers or your partners. So we have many connections in the automotive industry, but also in the modern trade. So for instance, like Tesco or Walmart or Carrefour. And also we are connected to some banks like Wells Fargo or JP Morgan. Okay. Let's talk now about a different topic, now about application-to-application connectivity. So that is a fact that for a long time, you need to connect your ERP system to other applications, like BPM or like a MES system. So that is not something new. Traditionally, we have done customizations at local level. That was enough for the time being to connect to applications. But now, this is changing because by using global systems and cloud systems, the requirements are much higher. So you need to have a real professional software to manage that because you need increased security, increased stability. But that software already exists. That is called middleware. So that is a special category of software which is focused on providing functionality for integration and interfaces. So that was clear that QAD needed to have a middleware. It's just for support our cloud business, but also to offer to our customers. So we started to do a selection some years ago to find the best middleware that fits better for us. And we quickly realized that the most challenging feature for a middleware is that you need to deal with very complex systems. So you have to be able to connect to many different applications, many different technologies, to deal with many different business processes. So in our checklist of the requirements to select a middleware, the first one is obviously to help us to connect to many different systems. But the second one, and you're thinking in our cloud business, that is very important, we need something technically robust. So we don't want to jeopardize our customers, so we need something 100% stabilized in our cloud business. And we want also something that is easily repeatable, that we don't need to develop each and every time for each and every site, but we can deploy easily and centrally in many places. And we want something that is easy to manage, so that we can manage centrally in the cloud, and we don't need to develop special tools for reporting. So we have very good tools for analyzing the errors, to reprocess the wrong messages. Okay, after doing a long research, we arrived to the conclusion that that tool that I'm going to talk now is the best, the one that fits more. It's called Boomi, it's Dell Boomi. We saw that that solution is far, far better than the competence in terms of security, reusability, and central administration, and stability. And I think we made a right choice because that Dell Boomi has been in the top, in the top level of the Gartner quadrant for many years. Well, you can check out after the meeting also. So what is the value that is adding that to QAD? The first thing, obviously, is that we can connect to many other applications. But the second, and very important, is that is the best on security integration. So that is very important for our cloud business. And also that is compatible with the rest of our suites. That is working well with QXtend. So we cannot use other middlewares because they are not working with QXtend properly. So that works perfectly. On top of that is an open platform. It's very easy to integrate to other software. So we are very happy with that application. And finally, is all the setup and the management is in the cloud. So you don't need to install on each and every server, but it's in the Dell cloud. Okay, so we have been talking about solutions, about software, but what do you think is the most important component of the I/O solution? Is it Dell or QAD Cloud EDI? So yeah, that is very important. But I think the most important is to have a really professional team behind of that, supporting that. So we are a team of almost 70 people now. So we are a global team, and we are in Asia Pacific, in Europe and North America. Our headquarters in Asia Pacific is located in Bangkok, is when I'm located, actually, and is when we are growing more our team. But we have people also in Shanghai at the same time. So it's what I told you. Of course, we are integration experts. We know the technology. But the first thing is that when you're talking to us, we are QD experts. We understand your business processes. And we want to become the single point of contact for all of your projects of A2A or B2B. This is our mission. Okay. So which are the services that we are offering? So the first one is obviously the implementation services. We're implementing B2B or A2A, but that is not finishing here. So right after we are going live with the project, we are offering support services. We are offering managed services for EDI and for middleware. Okay. Just to finish, I wanted to show you a real case of interoperability, right? So I pick up one of our cases. So imagine that you are in an automotive company. This is a parts provider for spare items, not to OEMs. This is for the aftermarket. So you have two different sales channels. One is the big garage or big showrooms, let's say. And then there are big companies with many locations. And then the other are small shops that they are selling spares. So maybe you want to sell in a different way to two of them. At the same time, you have subcontracted your warehouse to an external 3PL logistics company. Okay, let's see how we can implement that, because we have many different requirements. So that company is obviously using QAD. So how we are communicating with the 3PL, for instance. So 3PL, they used to have an EDI, a standard EDI, right? Which kind of messages we have with a 3PL? So we can tell them, send them an order to do a shipment to the customer. So we want to tell them, pick up that item and send to that shop, for instance, right? We can say that by email or by phone, but the normal in that case is using traditional EDI. So what we would do is that from e-commerce will pull the data from QAD and will generate a standard format, which is called a standard neutral format, is SNF. Then that is picked up by QAD Cloud ADI, which is translated into the external standards, like X12 or EDIFACT or other standards. And then finally, we are communicating to the 3PL logistics warehouse. But we want to know when the warehouse is sending the shipment to the customer. So the 3PL is going to reply back with something we call ASN, which is a shipment. It's advanced shipping notice. So now how we are communicating with the big chain customers. They are using obviously also EDI. So they are sending to us orders by EDI using EDIFACT standard, for instance. So QAD Cloud EDI is translating that into the SNF format, and finally, this is creating an order into QAD by e-commerce. And when we are shipping to that customer, we are sending to them a shipping notice, and we can also send an electronic invoice by EDI. But there are other customers that they don't have EDI, so we can hire a platform, a web portal, like a shop to sell to them. But we want to have real-time connection between that portal and QAD. So that is an external application, which is in the cloud. We don't have it even inside our network, but we want real-time communication with QAD. For instance, if a customer is doing an order by EDI, we want to have less than 2 seconds answer from QAD. We cannot wait too much. For that purpose, we have to use QAD Boomi. So QAD Boomi is getting a web call from the portal, and it's translating automatically this into the QXtend format, which is an XML QDoc, and finally that order is integrated into QAD, right? At the same time, the customer may want to know if we have enough inventory, so the same. He's sending a request, like a web call to QAD Boomi. This is translated into the QAD XML format, and this is doing an inquiry in the QAD database, and finally we know what is the inventory. So this is the overall solution when we are implementing all our technologies in a single project. Okay? And I think that's everything for today. So someone pick up and Kongkum Kap, and you have any question?
มีท่านใดมีคำถามที่อยากถามคุณอิราดีไหมคะนอกจากให้คุณอิราดีลองพูดภาษาไทยคำอื่นๆเพิ่มบ้าง So we're talking about your speak Thai so well.
Okay, after 1 year, I should speak better. Yeah.
Okay, please stay longer. มีท่านใดมีคำถามที่อยากถามคุณอิรดีไหมคะเพราะจริงๆนี่เป็นทีมพิเศษนะคะของ QAD IO ที่จะมาเชื่อมโยงการทำงานของจากตัวในระบบของออฟฟิศของท่านเองกับระบบของลูกค้าที่มีอยู่ให้สามารถเชื่อมโยงติดต่อแล้วก็สื่อสารกันได้อย่างมีประสิทธิภาพและเป็นระบบแล้วก็ยืดหยุ่นด้วยมีท่านใดมีคำถามไหมคะ It seemed like no question.
Okay, good.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
thank you.
ขอเสียงปรบมือให้กับคุณอิรดีอีกครั้งหนึ่งค่ะ